Hi, this is Bob, and today we are going to check out the new Century Machine 8-inch drill press. This looks to be like a pretty good unit. It's belt driven, so you can adjust the speeds. Goes from 620 up to 3100, and I'm running on a slow speed right now. And actually for this we're going to go ahead and we're going to bump this up a little bit in speed because I'm going to be drilling some metal. And you have to excuse the background of the shop. I'm in transformation right now, getting rid of a lot of junk so I can have more of a shop. Now I just got it. I've set this where I want it. I want it on my a work table I have set up here. I have another drill press right here. It's quite a large one, and my other tables with my band saw and everything are taking up too much room, so I'm going to set this up, but I'm going to do something a little different. So real quick, I'm going to show you from start to finish what I'm going to do with this. I do a lot of pipes and different kind of work. Try and set this up so it doesn't fall over on us. Okay, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to mount this to my table, and I've already grabbed a 1/4 inch drill. So the first thing I want to do is loosen this up under here. There's a bolt. I've already loosened it a little bit. I'm going to turn this sideways. And when you set up a drill press, you want to make sure you have plenty of room everywhere you're going to be drilling. So if you have a longer item, it can fit. So if you don't take the time to set up your drill press correctly, you could have some problems. And one of the problems a lot of people have is they don't mount it right away. You want to mount this so it's a solid, level surface. So I thought I had everything set up. I got some extremely long lag bolts. It's about what I had in the shop, and that's what I'm using. You think you have everything in the world, and when you go to do a project, you find out you don't have everything. Okay. Other side done real quick. When you're doing lag bolts, you want to pre-drill so that way you don't split your countertop or whatever you're working with. Okay, so there's our drill press, but I'm going to be using it for tobacco pipes, restoration on antiques and stuff like that, and I've always wanted an XY vise, and that's what I'm going to use. Now, because this is at an angle right here, you can see the center is, the table is above the center point. So what we're going to do is I need to turn this upside down. Now, what I've done is I put a couple pieces of tape, and you can't see the 0, but I'm on 0, and after I hit 0, I just colored it with my marking pen, and now when I pull these off, I should have a nice arrow, which I do, pointing to 0. So it should be at pretty close to 0. I'm just going to snug this up because I'm going to have to be turning it. The XY Vise slides and hits right here when it's mounted. So what I did is I cut a piece of wood to the thickness that I needed, and we're just going to use that as a spacer. Make sure you're centered where you want to be. My wood's under there. I actually want to add a couple longer bolts, but this is what I had in the shop at the time, so that's what we're going to use for tonight. Okay, so my vise is where I want it, left to right, forward and backward, and now I'm going to miss. If you look right here, this was going to hit this. That's why I needed the spacer under here. So we're going to go ahead and snug this up. Just use a multi-purpose wrench. I'm going to have to undo this real quick. I got my wood turned the wrong way, so it split. Okay. Should be good to go now. That looks snug. You never like things to go wrong when you're making a video, but shit happens, you know what I'm saying? Okay. Actually, I think I want it a little more. A little farther back. Slide this right about there. Now I will be getting a piece of metal later on and replacing that wood, because I'm sure after a little bit of time it's gonna not hold up the way I want. Okay, you can see we snugged down our bolts, and now we're gonna actually back this off. We're going to hit 0. And the way you hit 0, the way I hit 0 is I put a level on it. wrench maybe. There we go. Earlier I had just set a level on each side of here, and that's how I got my 0 mark left to right. So what we have here is an XY vise. Now I'm really happy with this little drill press. I tried it out. It was a open box, so I made sure everything was in the box, and all the parts were there. Now what I'm going to go ahead and do is make sure everything's snug. You can set your set screws so it only goes down a certain distance. And that's about where we're going to end up. Now one thing I want to do real quick here, because I always hate looking for chuck keys. We're going to make sure I never lose my chuck. Adding a rope right here to the lid, and we're going to take a little electrical tape. Tape the upper part so it can't come off. I have had the same chuck on the other drill press. It's been with that. I know where the my big Craftsman has been for the last 30 years. I had an RV center years ago, and that's where we had it. So we have plenty of room. Here's my chuck. So we're just going to take it and tape it right on here. Now these smaller drill presses, they're not good for heavy stuff. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't believe they are. You want to drill some real thick metal, you're going to want to go with the bigger drill press. And this is spring-loaded. Harbor Freight, Central Machine, they spring-loaded their chuck here, so when you push it in, it automatically pops back out. Okay, now what else they've given us is an Allen wrench. And yeah, this is all it's for, is right here. Let me make sure it's not going to be used for any other parts. So we're going to go ahead and just do this one right in the center. So I have a little room to move with it. Now we're all set. So, with an XY vise, you can move your drill press back and forth. Now, with this one, I'm going to get me a complete set of smaller bits. I like to tighten all the way around. I really like these belt-driven drill presses. It's pretty nice. So, got the piece of stock. Looks like 1.25 inch, 1.5 inch tubing. And what you can do now, the vise. Here's your vise. Okay, this handle opens and closes the vise. So we're going to open it up. Now these run around 150 up to 500. This is a Jacob. I got this one on eBay and I got a good deal on it. So put our metal in. Since our vise, we mounted it, we know it's secure. First time I've used this, so I don't know if it needs any adjustment or not yet. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a T. I'll just do a dot. And let's say I want another one here, here, and here. Okay. So we're going to start off with the center one. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set the camera down. This is my set on the other side. So I want one on the top, one on the bottom. I don't even know if it'll come off that way. What I want and what we're going to get may be two different things. All the way down. I'll show you the video what I just did. Okay, what you have here is your depth. So let's say I don't want to be going back and forth. I just want to move it a little bit. So now I can bring my metal over, and you can see we're going to go right about here, and I want to be really close. So all you do, you come over here, you press this down, and then you tighten it. I'm within an eighth of an inch. Now the second one is how deep you want to go. So we're only going 1/4 inch or so, but I'm not worried about the depth. You can set that, and it even comes with a real fancy marker to show you the depth. Okay, first time I've used this one. Real quick, I'm going to get some I'm I'm looking for my WD and I don't see it. I wanted to lube this up. Okay, I'm going to try this with one hand. So right now, by moving this handle, I'm going left to right. Now, with this handle, you can see I'm moving the whole metal piece. So I'm about where I want to be. Now I want to go over. And I'd probably have this on a little high. It's that simple. And that worked out pretty good. Now to change the belts, it tells you right here, we are at the second, so we're at 1100 RPMs, and I want to go see how it works at 620. So, without pinching my fingers, the gauge shows the bottom of the big one, bottom of the small one. That's what I've set it up at. I'm going to close this. We're going to move my, now remember, I'm moving the metal by turning this in and out. So we're going to get near the X. I can tell you right now, this needs a little bit of adjustment. Now this is at, I believe it said 620. So we're going to move the piece back. What I'm doing is here I'm setting these set screws, and it tightens up any slack that this would have in it going left to right. It makes it also a little harder to turn. I just like to touch it, not without making a mark. And with our last one, I really have these set too tight. don't know if there's any other adjustments on here. I haven't got to play with it enough yet. Yeah, here's one. So there's our last one. So if you're thinking about a small drill press, this one comes with pretty much everything you need. Just make sure you mount it correctly. Use some good lag bolts or heavy duty bolts. This has probably a half-horse motor on here. It tells you right here. So for wood, it tells you the RPMs. Wood, zinc, brass, aluminum, and then iron or steel. Okay. So that's the thickness, 3/8. Going to be want to be at 1100. That's where I was the first time, with a 3/8 bit or 3/8 thickness that you're drilling through. Now go to a 1/2 inch, and it says you want to slow it down to 620. So the thicker the metal, the slower the speed. I'm sure that this is probably a 1 horse or a 1/2 horse. It's actually not marked on here, but you can look it up on Harbor Freight. 8-inch drill press, central machine. And this is the Jacobs XY Vise. And the only problem I see right now with it is it's not going in the full depth that I want it to. And I'm sure that's just some minor adjustments. You can see I'm moving the metal, and it's locked in here solid. The metal's locked in. See how this is loose? Tighten her up. Tighten it up. I just started doing the ads on my videos. So if you see one and you're done, click on the ad. See what Google's offering, or I'll have some tool sites to go on to pretty soon. I'll link it with Central Link, Central Machinery, with Harbor Freight, stuff like that. Now, if you wanted to, this is here, and I mounted it on the base, okay? If you wanted to, you could replace this pipe with, say, one that's another 6 to 8 inches, and you could just turn the table, and then you'd have your flat table to work with, too. And that's probably what I'll end up doing later on. But for what I'm using it for, I'm using it for tobacco pipes and stuff like that. This is just fine. Got all of our holes drilled. Came out nice. And that's about all this vise will be used for. This whole setup will be used for making tobacco pipes. Mostly tobacco pipes, or using it for my antique restoration. If you have any questions, you can click my link, give me an email. If I can answer any questions that I haven't answered so far, just ask away. Thank you for looking at the video.